Hello guys and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. Last episode I started off with a little trick that I discovered. I figured out a way to turn wool into diamond blocks. It's kind of cheaty, but I figured out how to do it, and I thought I'd start off the episode by doing that, but not a lot of people noticed it, so I thought what I would do is show you right now. If I just turn around and when we look back it's a diamond block. How cool is that? I'm not going to keep that though because that is completely cheaty, but I'll let you guys try and figure out how I did that because it's really clever. Anyway, out here I've redone this bit. In fact, that's all I've had time to do between episodes. This was quite open before. I took all of the trees, or at least the stumps, like the bottom of these bits, figured out where they were, replanted them. Got a couple of really nice big trees here. They go all the way up there. And then I looked and it looked quite bland, this area, so I couldn't remember what it was that we had before, but I decided to put down a lot of long grass and put pumpkins all over the place, and yeah, this place looks just as good as before, maybe even better. So this episode I'm going to be meeting up with DMAC in a bit. I just thought I'd record this little intro for you just before, and we're going to be doing something really cool. I won't tell you just yet, just in case things don't go to plan as always, but yeah, I'm going to be meeting up with DMAC shortly. Well, I met up with DMAC, I had this whole episode planned, we recorded together, and unfortunately I made a huge mistake with the thing that we had planned, and the whole episode kind of went to pot because it was based around doing this one thing. Now, I want to keep that a secret because if I can fix it and get it to work, then we'll have a really cool episode to make, but it doesn't look like we can, and I feel like a bit of a prat. I wasted his time and mine. So I need to do something else for this episode, and while I was with him we were just chatting about different things and something really cool came into mind. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you for your feedback on the previous video. I got a lot of nice comments and quite a few people said that I'd done a good job of just talking for a while, which really helps because it boosts my confidence when I get comments like that, and that then helps. Oh, that's loud. That then helps with me doing talky stuff. So one person in particular said that I'd done a really good job of explaining the whole YouTube thing, which gave me a lot of confidence because I felt like what I tend to do when I talk is make a point, and then that point that I've made, I'm not sure if I explained it fully, because one thing about language is that people can interpret it differently. So I can say one thing and some people might get the point that I'm trying to make, but because it's language, some people might interpret it differently and think of something different. And so because of that, when I explain something I tend to overdo it, but a lot of people said that I'd done a good job, so it made me feel really good about it. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for all your feedback on that video. And now we're going to be heading over to Kiershar's mob spawner because that place is now public domain. Kiershar, when we last spoke to him, said that he had lost interest in Minecraft, and it's been a very long time since we've even spoken to him or seen him on Skype, and it's probably best that we move on because we don't think that he'll be playing Minecraft again. So we're going to make his spawner that he built and the portal that he has there, we're going to make them public access. So we've talked about this for a long time, but no one's gone over there and done anything yet, so it gave me the idea when I was talking to DMAC to actually go over there and not only open it up for public access but also to modify his spawner. So I need to go over there, which I'm going to do now. I'm going to make the long distance. I brought a load of supplies with me as well, which I will show you in a second when I can. There you go. So I've got all of this stuff. I'm going to be explaining what I'm going to be doing with that when we get over there, and yeah, I'll explain in more detail when we arrive. So here we are. This is Kiershar's mob spawner, and he was an expert at building these things. This is one of the fastest and most efficient mob spawners that there is, and I think I've got a way now to improve this, but we'll talk about that in a moment. First of all, what I don't like about this mob spawner is that he uses the lava blade. We always used to talk about this. Now he likes doing that because it means you get to kill the mobs at this height and you transport the items through this water stream, and oh, that's right, yeah, I thought they were pressure plates. No, there's signs. And then that brings all of the items to here, and this is the optimal place to stand to get the maximum rates inside the mob spawner, which is a good thing. So that's why he's done it like that. Now because of this, when this thing is running at full, there's just a massive group of mobs in there all the time, and it takes them a long time to get killed. Now the thing with mob spawners is the quicker you can kill the mobs, the more likely there are more of them to spawn. So the best way in my opinion to use a mob spawner is with full damage, but if you're standing down below, then you're not going to get the optimal rates by standing over here. So that was what the debate really was. He thought it was better to stand here and get better rates, which I think he was right about, than to take lesser rates but kill the mobs faster. So I want to modify this now. What I plan on doing is removing all of the water on the inside there and turning that into a full damage trap. And the reason I want to do that is because we can still stand here and collect items now because we have hoppers, so we can be putting items into chests. So we get the best of both basically. So if I go in there and remove all of that water and create a platform down below for all the mobs to fall onto, then we can collect everything and get the best of both worlds. So this is going to be a real mission because I'm not sure what it is I can do with this. I know it has a floor system where water goes across the floor and it flushes the mobs out. Let's see if we can see that. There you go. So the water's going to come out on the side, go all the way across and push all of the mobs off. What I need to find out if I can do is disable this first of all by activating all of them at once. So I'm going to have a nosy round to see if I can do that. So I found it. There is actually an off switch right here to turn the mob spawner off, and this is next to Kiershar's clock that he's got right here. So these rotate the blocks around, and then you can see the signal travels through there, but it gets cut off when you have a solid block. So that periodically causes all of the floors to flush with water. At the moment they're there ready for mobs to spawn on them, and then if I just hit this switch we override it, and now all of the floors are going to flood with water. So this means that I can safely remove everything at the bottom and build the full trap. So the floor has been removed. We are now ready to build the full damage trap. Getting tongue tied already. And I think there might be a problem with the first design that I've got in mind, and that was to use tripwire. So it's going to have a tripwire hook at either end. And I didn't count how long this was, but I imagined it would be a little bit less than 40 blocks. I could be wrong. But that would mean the tripwire would still work. Now, the problem with that is the redstone signal we get from the tripwire hooks at either side doesn't travel the whole length. And as soon as we use a repeater, the tripwires. Oh, I'm getting all my words muddled up today. The trapdoors will activate later because of the delay from the repeater, and it won't kill the mobs that fall into the water stream below. So I'm going to go into a test world and just play around with that for a bit, because if I can't find a way to make that work, then it's completely pointless for me to do it here. And what I'll have to do, which was my first idea, which will work but it'll be slightly more expensive, is to just build a floor of half slabs and underneath them have hoppers. And you can see for the amount of distance we have here, we're going to need two hoppers on either. Sorry, we're going to need 2 rows of hoppers, and that is just going to cost me a lot of iron. So I'm going to go into the test world and see if I can get the tripwire design to work first. So I thought before going into a test world I should measure this to find out how long it actually is, and it's 50 blocks, so that throws tripwires right out of the question. Another reason I was a little unsure about using them was because of spiders. There's spiders in this trap, and I'm not sure if those trapdoors actually kill them. But a spider falling all the way down onto a half slab platform, that'll definitely work, so we're going to be doing that with the hoppers, which is going to cost me a ton of iron. But there's nothing really to do now other than start building that platform. I think one of the things I said recently in an episode was that I've got to stop doing things so far away from Avalon, and nothing could be truer because I'm totally underprepared. I've just been taking tons of trips back and forth between spawn gathering materials, but now I think I've got enough to actually build this. I've started working on it, and one of the first things I realised is my original idea for the hoppers was to just have them leading all the way down to the end, and then there'd be some chests at the end there. Well, the problem with that is these are clearly going to get backed up quite quickly, because as the mobs fall down and land all over the place, they'll be filling up with items and they'll all be pushing down to one bit, and yeah, it's just going to get backed up. So I was thinking about it and I came up with this. What we're going to do is make a clock, and it's going to go across all of these droppers, and this works out quite nicely because we're going to have water streams on the other side, and then every so often we need to extend the water stream. So the first block will be there, it will go all the way to this one here, and the reason that I haven't put a dropper there is so that the one before it can get enough momentum to move across the ice. That's right, ice. So I don't know why I've been putting those half slabs there. I need to put some ice underneath them. So I'll change that in a moment. And then the next water block will start on the other side of this. So it basically means that these two here, we don't want to have droppers because the items will probably end up landing on the ice here that doesn't have water above it. So the simple thing with that is just to have these two hoppers connect to the ones either side. So this way each hopper dispenses its own items into the water streams and then they don't get backed up. So I'm really hoping this works because it's taken me such a long time to build. In fact, I was thinking earlier that maybe I'd have to cut this one short. I'm not sure if I can really get the whole project done in time because the whole DMAC thing sort of set me back a bit, and then I've decided to take on a very ambitious project. But I'm just going to keep on going and see how much of this I can get done with the time that I have. Okay, I am starting to get frustrated with this project. I think I've rushed into this way too much. I'm starting to see some big problems with the setup that we have here. Now I went all the way up to the top and set off the timer at the back so that this thing would activate, and it works really well. The mobs fell down, loads of them all at once, and you're going to get really good rates from this, that's for sure, with the items. But the thing is, the way I've set this up, I get distracted by these mobs. The way I've set this up isn't very clever because we have these half slabs here, and then this was where I was going to run my redstone along. So all these items you can see that are on the edge here from where they've been falling down, and they're basically going to fall down. The items are going to go off in random directions, and a lot of them are probably just going to land on the edge here. Did I look at the Enderman? I think I did. Let's just move down here. I don't think you can teleport here. It seems to have stopped anyway. So the problem that I'm facing is I've rushed into this design and it's got some flaws that I don't think I can fix, because the alternative to having the droppers here is to have them one down. So what you would do is you would have these pointing downwards, have the droppers underneath them, and then all of this would move down and in one block. But then you'd have to power each of the hoppers, and the only way I could think of doing that is with redstone torches from below. So it means we would have to build a ton of circuitry down here. We'd have to use toads, loads of redstone torches, redstone repeaters, and I was also wondering if having a clock for all of these droppers would cause any lag, because there's over 100 of them. It turns out this is about 60 blocks in length. I don't know how I keep miscalculating this thing, but yeah, there's about 60-65 blocks on either side, and that is a lot of droppers all being activated at once. So what I might do is just go into a test world and see how that works. In fact, yeah, I'll do that now. So this seems fine. I'm just going to turn it on for a moment, and you can hear how loud that is. Also, if I press F3, you can see there's no real lag issues going on with the frame rate or anything like that. But then again, these aren't dispensing loads of items everywhere. The items don't tend to cause that much lag. Plus, they group up as well. So as each of these dispensing items and they're going down the item stream, they'll be grouping up as well. And you know, another thing with this, I'm just seeing more and more flaws with this design as I go along, is that we're going to have so many items coming down the end here. I wanted to put them into hoppers, but then those hoppers are probably not going to be able to deal with the items that we have because they're coming in so fast. Now, I was just prepared to say that I think that this will probably be okay, and that what I'll do is control them with torches from underneath so we can make sure that all the drops will land on the half slabs that we have in the middle, because that means the half slabs are going to be like this at the moment. So we'd cover them up like that, and it means there's a gap for them to fall into. So if we have these underneath the hoppers under there, it means we can just have solid walls on either side. So all of the drops land on these blocks here, and yeah. So I was thinking that I would actually put all the repeaters and torches and all of that stuff into doing this, but then there's the other flaw of the items going down to the end and it just being too many, and I'm starting to think that this whole idea was a rushed idea. Basically, I didn't really give it too much thought, didn't go into too much detail about how I would do everything. I just kind of thought, oh yeah, you know, the full damage thing will work now because we've got hoppers and we can just put them straight into chests, and that has proven to be a bad idea, it seems. So I'm not sure if I'm going to knock this on the head. This is actually all the time I have to play for at the moment, so it gives me plenty of time to think before tomorrow comes around, so I might be knocking this one on the head. A lot has happened since I last recorded, and right now we're having a look inside the mob spawner because these two chunks haven't loaded, but it's all a little bit too dark. I can just about make out some mobs there. But yeah, a lot has happened since I last recorded. I've done a lot of recording with Red Eyes. He came over here and we had a conversation about this whole thing and made a lot of progress. But the thing is, I'm really not in the mood for editing. I've had a really long day and I've used up all of my playtime, so I thought, you know what, I'm not going to do a couple of hours of editing. I'll just record and sort of summarise everything that happened. But I think Red Eyes used a lot of our conversation in an episode, so you might see a link on the screen right now. That'll take you to Red Eyes' episode if he's got it out when I put this one up. But anyway, I want to summarise what we talked about because we realised a lot of things about this mob spawner, and also that I made a really bad assumption with saying that the hoppers wouldn't be able to deal with the amount of items that were coming through, because they would. I didn't really consider how many mobs would be dropping down and just how fast these can actually move items. So they can move an item free every second, which when you think about it is actually quite a lot, and we've got 2 of these, so we're going to be able to move 6 items every second through this. So as you can hear at the moment, there's not much going on up above, and that's because this mob spawner works on a timer. So there is an interval between each time that that was close. Each time that the hoppers could actually take in the items. And yes, this is our terrible way of getting down here to check this place out. It's all kind of temporary at the moment, but we're going to keep this design so I can start working on it. And yeah, that looks really good. Those rates are excellent. So what we realised is Kiershar said that the best place to stand was over there because he didn't like full damage traps, and we reckon it's actually I am going to have to turn that down, aren't I, because it's very loud. Now we reckon it's actually better to stand right here, because when you're standing here you're sort of in the middle and you're just about 32 blocks away from the very bottom there, so there's probably a circular area because the mob spawning radius around a player is, and I've got to be careful each time these mobs come down in case some of them survive and attack me, but it's a spherical shape around the player, so just a small area up there on the very first floor I don't think they can actually spawn, but everywhere else they can. And if you think about it, the closer that the mobs are to the player, the less likely they are to despawn. So when we're standing over at one end, we're roughly around 32 blocks from the front of the mob spawner, and so all of this back end gets wasted because most of the mobs that will spawn far away from the player will despawn quite quickly. So it actually makes more sense to stand down here, and we've been testing this. We've done some testing together, I've done some testing myself, and it's definitely a lot faster. Now I think generic B, oh no, he's gone. Okay, so if I press F3 and we just look upwards here, you can see we're getting 20 odd entities, and it sounded like a wave just fell down, and it's going possibly up to around 70 is the most I've seen it do. At the moment it seems to have found a cap just under 60. So when the timer next goes off, and there it is, they're all going to fall down, and it's almost to 0, but you can see that some of the mobs have started spawning up the top here. And I'm looking at the E in the top left corner, by the way, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. So I think we can run this clock even faster and make this mob spawner even more efficient, and we've got a spider over there, so we've got to be careful of that. And it's absolutely fine with these hoppers. Let's go have a look. Down the end you can see items are passing through, but they're not getting backed up. And they're moving down into this chest, and this is the threshold at the moment, or the bottleneck. No, that's not the correct term for either of those. What am I talking about? You can see I've been taking the gunpowder out of here. That's really all I need this for. Maybe we could add some sort of sorting system down here as well. But yeah, this is going to be a really good project, and I was just foolish enough to make a wild assumption and run with it, and I could have saved myself a lot of time. I used up all of my playtime doing that, so unfortunately this episode will have to be cut short because gotta be careful. Yeah, because that's all of my playtime down. Now this is another problem. That is a lot of mobs. Me and Red Eyes have been talking about this. Now, a while ago this didn't used to happen, but these guys can now, oh that was a good shot, can now actually calculate if they have, if they do have feather falling, they actually calculate it. They never used to do that. They used to have enchanted armour, but the mob wearing it wouldn't actually factor in the enchantments. But Dinnerbone added that recently in a snapshot update, so these guys will now survive because they've got feather falling boots. So we need to come up with a solution for that. It's probably going to be something like lava blades on either side, so these mobs also fall through lava. Oh no, he's going to hit me. There we go, take that. And then if they land, they should burn to death as well, which is good. So this is going to be one hell of a mob spawn, and we're going to make that clock faster. We're going to get a real nice setup going on here. We'll probably move the nether portal so you spawn, or at least it takes you to the optimal place to stand to get this thing running, which is right in the middle where I was standing a moment ago. So next episode, I'm not sure if I'm going to be coming back and working on this straight away, because I like to mix things up, but it won't take us long to finish this now. And so I think that was all I wanted to say. Yeah, I just got really lazy, couldn't be bothered to edit, so I thought I'd just tell you what happened, and I think that'll work out for the best. But anyway, if you're watching this video in the future, there's a chance that the next one has already come out, so in the moment there'll be an annotation on the screen to click on that, and that'll take you through to the next episode. But if not, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.